Okay, welcome. I'm happy to see some of you live here, and I know a lot of you are going to watch the replay. Perfectly fine. I want you to think about, and the people who are live here now, please drop in the chat. If you already have a freebie, what is the title of your freebie? And if you don't have one, drop that in the chat. And then in the meantime, if you've done that, grab a pen and a piece of paper, because today is going to be hands-on, all practical, and I really want to give you as much value as possible. So I'm going to start doing that, and I'm going to grab the slideshow, and then we're going to get started. Yay. There we go. And I just saw in the chat, holiday hacks and moving to a big bed. Nice. Very specific. I'm going to talk about that later as well. So in this 1 hour workshop, you're going to see me watching down a couple of times because I have my slideshow on my phone. In this 1 hour workshop, I'm going to show you how to create a valuable and attractive freebie. So this is the main content of this workshop, and specifically for you as a sleep consultant. And we're going to create and think about a freebie that will really help you target your ideal client and something that they really want. So the first let me show you what we're going to do. So these are the 4 parts that we're going to go through. And the first one is understanding your audience. That's part 1. Part 2 is choosing the right format for your freebie. Part 3 is design your freebie content. And then in part 4, promoting your freebie. And I'm going to wrap all this up in max 1 hour of your time. So let's get started. But first, I want to make clear why it's so important to have a freebie or an email list, because that might be the first question that comes up. Now, building an email list, and you might have heard this before, it allows you to nurture a connection, to build a relationship with your potential clients. And it's also an opportunity for you to share valuable content and share your offers and all your paid services with your clients, of course. And talk about how you can help them get the sleep they are looking for. Now, unlike social media platforms, because I know many of you, if not all, are on Instagram, with social media platforms, you have the difficulty that the algorithms choose who sees your posts, right? Your email list is something you own. Your social media is not. It's owned by the platform, by Mark Zuckerberg and all these people who are running that. But the email list is yours. So what you can do with your email list is directly communicate with your subscribers anytime, whenever you want, anywhere, without worrying that something is changing again in social media, in the algorithm. Now, I don't say you should get rid of social media, because I really have this idea of that social media is a great way to get the people in, to bring new people into your email list, into your community. And then in the email, this is the place where you're going to make the sales. So you attract the clients through Instagram and then get them as fast as possible in your email list so you can really update it. Think about it as this, like a lot of people go on Instagram, they scroll, they see different posts. Some, if you want to look back for a post, you can never find it. But an email pops up in the inbox and it stays there. And I know there are some people with like 2,000 unread emails, but there are also people like me who want to go through every email. And if the email has value, I read it and I leave it there. If the email doesn't have value, I unsubscribe, to be honest, because everybody is very careful about their time, and I'm as well. So we're going to talk about that later. Now, an email list. Now, you might be wondering, how do I get those people from Instagram, from social media, or from a workshop, or from anywhere else onto your email list? And this is where the freebie comes in. Now, most of you know what a freebie is. Some people call it a lead magnet. I personally like to call it a qualifier, because what you want to do with your freebie is not just give something of value, give something for free, which a lot of people are talking about, that this is what a freebie is. You want to qualify the people that come into your email list. If you are really focused on toddlers, you rather have not people coming in with a child that's going to school at like 5, 6 years old, for example. If you are working with parents who have a child who is autistic, you don't want to have other parents come into your email list. So because the more specific you are, the narrower your niche, the more clients you're going to have. So this is also what a freebie is important for, to qualify your ideal client. Now, why are freebies so effective? Everybody loves free stuff, right? And especially if it's valuable, because that's the other thing. If you download a freebie for a recipe, for example, and then the freebie comes in and you have the 10 ingredients that you need for cooking, but it doesn't say how you need to do it, are you ever going to go back to that website and download another freebie or even pay for something that they offer, one of their services? No, of course not, because it was not of value. So this is something very important with a freebie. We want to give value, because what the other thing that it does, by offering high quality freebie, you're providing an immediate benefit to your ideal client, to the person who's like I said, if you download a recipe and you get the ingredients and the step-by-step to do it and some extra bonus tips and you make the recipe and it's delicious, you want to download the next one, or you want to pay for the cookbook. So this is the effect that we want to create. And the other thing that a freebie also, what we want a freebie to do, is that people get this free value, they look at it and they're like, how can this be free? I would have paid like $30, $40, $50, $100 for it. She gave me all of this for free. So what would it mean if I would work with her? Like if I would actually pay for her services, that's going to be even more amazing. So this is what we want to create. Now, why listen to me today? I'm a serial entrepreneur. I have built multiple businesses in the past decade, and I have helped hundreds of sleep consultants start, launch, and grow their business. And I've been called tech bestie, design bestie. So that's the title I took on now. And I understand, because most of you became sleep consultants to help families, right? To help them get the rest they need. And then you suddenly realize this whole business aspect and tech aspect comes around it. And that was not what you signed up for. So this is what I'm here to help you with. And really my purpose has always been and will always be, is to help you save time and attract more clients, because both of them are so important, so you can focus on the high impact tasks. And yeah, let's move on, because what does an irresistible freebie look like? Now, as you can see on the right side, you see my travel sleep guide. And what it should do, your freebie should always draw in your ideal client. So as you can see, it's very clear. This is for parents with children underneath 5 years old. And this is about travel. So it's already two things. It's the value and the audience that you want to attract. So if you have a freebie or you have a freebie title already, look at that. Is it clear for who it is and what the value is that they're going to get out? Because there's nothing worse than dropping your email address, getting the freebie, and figuring out that actually it's not what you were looking for. It's annoying, right? We don't want to be that annoying stop in the process. So look at your title, but it should draw in your ideal client. But what it also should do, and this is something that this title can improve, is it should discourage those who aren't a good fit. So, and this title for this specific template, this freebie, you can even be more specific. So with during family travel with kids under 5 who are disabled, I say something. Because I said, the narrower your niche, figure out something that you're going to be one in many, instead of trying to be in a big ocean of all parents and sleep consultants trying to find a match. Be in a small puddle and people start talking. Like, I worked with a sleep consultant who's working with parents who have autistic children, and because she had an autistic child herself, so he had a lot of experience built up. And because she started working with the first family and they started talking like, oh my gosh, my kid is sleeping now. She completely understands that all these other sleep consultants say you need to have a consistent bedtime routine, and it didn't work. And she understood me and she gave me tips. And then they start talking in their community, because we all have a community. So find a community that you resonate with, something from your experience, something from your knowledge, something from a skill set that you have that you can dive into and become the authority in. And then on your freebie, make super clear, that this is what you're an authority on. For this person it is, and what is the value that you're going to give. And of course, I don't think I have to say that. Make sure that it's on brand. So put your logo, make sure you use your colors from your brand. If you don't have a brand yet, the most, and this hurts as a designer, the most basic that I can give you is pick 3 colors, 3 different colors that go well together. Pick 3 different fonts. So you want to have a heading font. You want to have a subheading font that's a little bit more curly. And you want to have a body text font. And make sure that you use this for everything, for your website, your Instagram post, your freebie. So that's very important. Now we're going to move on to the first part, and that is understanding your audience. And I said already a little bit about the niche, and it sounds so obvious, like, of course, I need to know who I write it for, but a lot of times we forget it. Or we keep it so broad because we want to address everybody that we miss the point and nobody's ever going to see it. So become very, very clear on your ideal client. Because remember, your business is not about you. Your business is for your client, for them to help them. So think about, what do they want? What do they need? Now, I want you to think about your ideal client. And that can be, if you're in the business already for a while, you maybe have worked with a client that you were like, oh my gosh, everything went smooth. I love to have the sleep consultation calls. She got it. She took action. Whatever it is that really resonated with you. Think about that person, that ideal client for you, and grab your pen and paper right now and draw in the middle of the paper a little silhouette. You can do like what you see now here on the slideshow, and write their name underneath it. Now, if you have not had a paying client or not had a client yet, then think of the ideal person. What could that person look like? Maybe it's always best if it's a person that exists already, because it helps you to really connect with it. So it can be a friend or maybe a neighbor or somebody from your yoga class that you're like, oh, that's the mom that would be perfect for me to help her get her child to sleep. So go do that now. Take your piece of paper and draw a silhouette and write the name of this person. If you really have nobody in your life that you're like, oh, that could be the perfect person, make somebody up. That's perfect. And you see now I chose Sarah. This is a woman. It can be a man. You can be a sleep consultant for dads, single dads. There are so many possibilities. So go do that now. I'm going to give you 30 seconds. And if you're watching the replay, you can put on pause and really put effort in your drawing skills. Okay, we're going to move on. I want to talk about 2 things, demographics and psychographics. So what I see a lot of times when people talking about the ideal client is that they focus on demographics. So demographics are the following things. I'm going to show you. So these kind of things, the education, occupation, the gender, the income, where they are based, their family, how many kids they have. So this is very important information. So what I want you to do now is start with the demographics. So next to your ideal client on the left side, start writing down some things. And you can use my guidance in the list you see here, but really facts that you can write down about your ideal client. So do they have a master's degree, a bachelor degree? Did they never go to? Did they never ended up in university? Or what is their job? Are they single moms? Are they divorced? Widows? Are they married? Are they married for 1 or 2 years? Are they married for 15 years already? Try to be as specific as possible and think about your ideal client, and you can literally take that friend that you chose and think about, oh, what does her life look like? And take that. The more we can make this real, the easier it's going to be to connect. Now, you can work on this later if you're watching live. If you're watching the replay, I would suggest pause before moving on. Because now I want to talk about psychographics, which are a lot of times neglected, which are very valuable because we want to give this ideal client a personality, right? All these things are just facts. So what we're going to do is look at what their values are, their beliefs, their fears, very good one, but also what they're interested in, how their parenting approach is. So this is very more, I want to say specific, but it's on a different layer. So we have demographics and psychographics. So I'm going to give you 1 minute to now think about the psychographics of your ideal client. Little tip, if you've used ChatGPT already, it's a great, I always would suggest first brainstorm yourself, but then in ChatGPT, you can literally ask this question. You put in the demographics of this ideal client that you created, said, it's Sarah, she's 32 years old, she has 2 children, she's married since 15 years. She, oh, is that possible with 32 years? That's a little bit long. She makes this and this amount of income. She lives in New York City in a small apartment, and she has a job as an HR manager. Tell me, what are her beliefs, her fears, and 3 of her biggest desires? And ChatGPT is going to give you a lot of content that you can then add to your brainstorm. I would never take literally content out of ChatGPT because it's still created and you want to make it your own. But they're so good to brainstorm ideas and to get more and more clear on your ideal client. And trust me, we are not only doing this for the freebie, this is something that you should hang above your computer. And every time you work, you write an email, you create a post, you write a newsletter, look at this person and write to them. I literally, in the beginning of my business, when I was really trying to find my voice, I was always looking at them and just typing, "Dear Sarah, dear Sarah, you know what I noticed?" Whatever it is. And then later I removed the "Dear Sarah," so nobody knew that I wrote to her. And for me, this is a real person. I wrote to her, and a lot of people who were the same person like Sarah really resonated, and they felt I was writing to them because I was writing to one person and not to 100 at the same time. So all the work you're putting in now is super valuable for everything you do in your business. Okay, we're going to move on because what I want you to think about now is, what are the common challenges that your ideal client has surrounding sleep? Because this is our topic, right? We don't care if she's not making enough income, or if she's not, well, that's affecting our business, but or if she, like all the other things, we are focused on sleep. So that's what we're going to talk about now. Draw 1 or 2 of those bubbles and write down some problems that your ideal client is struggling with. So let's say, for example, if you're working mainly with toddler families, and the biggest challenge you always hear, and the biggest challenge of your ideal client, is that they have a hard time to get their toddler stay in bed. So they're really dealing with bedtime resistance, and also during the night, the toddler wants to get out of bed the whole time. So try to write down at least 2 very big pain points that your ideal client has, because this is going to help you create that freebie that is going to be so super powerful. Keeping an eye on the chat in the meantime, the people who are live here. And if you have any question during watching the replay, just send me a DM on Instagram. You can find me at Sleep Consultant Design, and I'm always happy to help. So once you've got that, and the people alive, we're probably going a bit too fast, but I want to give you a lot. So then you can condense this and really work through this, because creating a freebie is not something you do in an hour. If you do that, value cannot be as high as if you're putting in like 10 hours or 20 hours of your time. And it feels like a lot, but once you've set up a really attractive freebie, you're going to have people coming in and your email list is growing. And this is what you want, because here you have a direct line to your ideal client. So think about now, when you know their problems and you know their demographics and psychographics, what kind of content would be the most valuable to them? So freebies that I see a lot for sleep consultants are like bedtime routine checklist or sleep training guides, like the basic first steps, video tutorials. Again, think about what kind of freebie could work for you, what kind of qualifier, but remember, it's not about you. It's about your ideal client. So look at that problem and create like, this is the best way to do it, is, for example, the challenge is helping my toddler stay in bed all night. And write down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what I want you to do is create 5 steps in the process. How would you help this client if they come to you and say, oh, my kid doesn't stay in the bed all night and I don't know what to do anymore? It's like, I can help you. If you would provide one-on-one service, what steps would you give? So I put some examples. For example, you say, okay, the first thing we need to do is establish a consistent bedtime routine. Then we're going to create a sleep-inducing environment. Next, we're going to implement a positive reinforcement system. Next, we're going to address fears and comfort needs. And then finally, we're going to be consistent with responses to nighttime and wake up. So this would be your 5-step plan. So I want you to do this for the problem of your ideal client. What are the 5 steps that you would do if you would work one-on-one with them to fix that problem? Again, really give this some thought, because this is very, very important. This is foundational work. Because what you want to do when you have those 5 steps figured out is pick one step. And most often you pick the first and you create a freebie based on this first step. You always want to create a freebie that gives a complete solution to a narrow problem. You want to really fix something. You really want to make a change, because this is the only way that people are going to perceive it as valuable. Like I said, with this cooking recipe, if I just get the ingredients, it's like, yeah, okay, cool. And now you have to pay to get the steps. I'm not going to do that. Didn't even provide me value in the first place. So what you want to do is take a step. And like I said, most often it's the first step, because the other steps you want to get paid for, right? So if you fix the first step for free, and you do that very well, and you make clear what the next steps are, the person who downloads your freebie is going to be like, oh, I want the rest to be fixed as well. I might hop on a call with her and see how it would look like to work together. So this is why it's very important. Find a complete solution to a narrow problem. You need to fix something. You cannot leave them hanging halfway. Then you want to think about the title. So one of the freebie templates that I created for you guys that you can, a lot of sleep consultants did it, they bought it, and then they change it. And that's the whole goal of it. There's all content written in it, and it's a very beautiful, good, in-depth guide about toddler sleep. But I really, and I see everybody doing that, so I'm super proud of all of you, change the title. Toddler Sleep Guide. Who's buying that? Nobody. You need to be more specific. So what is this toddler sleep guide fixing? What is the biggest problem that and exactly what we just talked about. And the same with the content, make it as specific as possible. Now, for the title, this title of your freebie is really, really crucial. And I said it before, because this is the first impression that your subscribers will have of the value of your offer. So it should be very clear, very compelling for who it is, what the value is, and directly address a pain point of your ideal client. So, for example, if you're offering a freebie on improving toddler sleep, so this guide is perfect for that. But instead of writing toddler sleep guide, you could write toddler sleep solutions, 7 expert tips to minimize bedtime resistance instantly. Sounds way much more compelling, right? And if that's not the problem you're dealing with, fine, this is not your freebie. This is not value for you and you're not my ideal client. This is exactly what you want to do. You want to have people like, oh, yes, I want that. And you want to have people like, that's not for me. Perfect. Because then you get a high qualified list, email list. Because an email list is not about having 10, 15, 20,000 people on it. You want to have high quality email list. You want to have a lot of platforms. And I know a lot of people don't know this, but once you get a lot of bounce rates, so people don't open your email, people unsubscribe. When this happens after you send out newsletters and things after they subscribe and they bounce, you're being put under a system in the platform as like, oh, keep an eye because it might be spam. This is not what you want. You want to have a high quality list. And, you know, again, it's not about quantity, it's about quality. You want people, you rather have 80% of your 200 people to say, yes, this is for me, than having 5% of the 2,000 people and trying to entertain all of them with all their different needs. So try to stay as specific as possible. Yeah, something that, no, I'm going to talk about that later. We're going to move on to part 2. And part 2, oh, here's some examples, actually. You can take a screenshot if you want to. Some examples of titles that are very specific and very clear for who it is and what the purpose and the value of the guide is. Okay. We're going to move on. So part 2, it's about choosing the right freebie format. Now, there's so many different types of freebies you can think about. A lot of times, a lot of people end up as a PDF, which is perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with that. But you can think also about like a one-page checklist or a template or a video series. This is also or a webinar or there's so many different types. And I have an Instagram post. If you scroll through my Instagram and it says 19 types of freebie downloads, it says it on the cover, and then you can scroll to it and see some other suggestions and some titles. There's so many different ways. And again, it's about your ideal client because every format has pros and cons. Every format works for some people and doesn't work for other people. So I want you to think back on your ideal client. This is why that work was so important, because we want to support them in their needs. And think about it like this. If your parent, if your ideal client is very anxious, maybe your ideal client had postpartum depression, is very insecure because this is the situation you were in as a mom when you got your first child. And this is the ideal client that you would like to work with because you wanted so much in that time that somebody was there for you. So you want to now be this person, which is beautiful. And if you think about it, if a mom is anxious, do you think a PDF of 20 pages is gonna make her feel comfortable that you can support her? If I can put myself in the shoes of an anxious mom, what I would like is a video or even a free consultation call, which a lot of you are offering, but a video training or a webinar or something that there's a person in front of me that says to me, Mama, you've got this. Listen, we're just going to start with the basics. So it's very simple. We take 3 little steps today, and we're going to talk about the rest tomorrow. You don't have to think about it. And you talk to the mom as if you were in front of her. How is it going to make her feel? So different, right? Or think about it. Maybe you are a working mom and your ideal client is also a working mom and she has 2 kids, has a job, and she's running around. Do you think this A-type mom, ambitious mom wants to go through a document of 30 pages? She doesn't have time for that. So maybe for this ideal client, it's better to have like a 1 PDF with a checklist of all the things to create a safe sleep environment for their child. Something like this. So think about your ideal client, very important. This is always what you come back to with everything you're doing, not only with freebies. Now, of course, you also want to think about your expertise. So in which way can you come across very strong and very powerful. Now, listen, I'm not saying comfortable. Because if you're like, oh yeah, but I'm feeling uncomfortable in front of a camera, this is something you can train. And if this is helping your ideal client, I think it's worth to put in the effort to get used to it and do with a teleprompter or whatever makes you feel comfortable to make this work. But go back to your ideal client. It's about them. How can you serve them? How can you be uncomfortable, but serving them? That is always going to be helping moving the needle in your business way much more forward. And if it's really something you don't want to do, I think you didn't pick the right ideal client then. So, and see this as an opportunity to learn and to grow for yourself as well, right? I was just telling to one of the participants who was here today, like, I remember my first workshop. I was so nervous, and like the whole day I was busy with it. And now it's like I prep my content, and 10 minutes before I put everything ready, take a glass of water, and here I am, and here to give value. Also because I know why I'm here right now. Before I was like, I don't know, it was different. Well, it's not about me. Let's move on. We're going to talk about part 3, and that is about designing your freebie content. Once you're clear on your ideal client, what their problem is, what their solution is, then it's time to put all of this into the form of a freebie. Now, the most important thing, and I've said this already a couple of times because I want you to really think about this, give value, value, value. Value to your ideal client, because value can be what I do to you now today. I hope this is packed full of value to you, but this is not going to be for a mom who wants their kid to sleep through the night. So think about your ideal client. How can you give as much value as possible? A freebie is not designed to make a hidden sale. Sometimes I download a freebie and it's like they say 20-page document, but actually the last 8 pages are all just marketing the program, missing the point. That is, then you have to present it as a 12-page document, and then you open it, it's like, oh, it's 20 actually. Be very upfront and give value, because this is going to come back. Always, this is going to come back. Think about those people in your life who are always give, and you're like, what can I do to give back? Because I get so much, and how can I help? This is the same thing that your clients are going to have, like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. She gives so much, she helped me so much already, and I want to do something. And sometimes it's not even buying your services. Remember that, because not all clients are direct clients. Sometimes it's like weeks later that somebody comes to you and you're like, out of the nowhere, where's this person coming from? And they're like, oh yeah, my friend told me about you. And she was like, oh my gosh, she's amazing. So I wanted to call with you because I have no time to go through all your free content. I just want to pay you because I want to fix this problem. And like, wow. And those are the best moments to see how things have a ripple effect. So value, 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 most important thing. And then, like I said before, also, you want your client to open your freebie and think like, if I get all of this for free, what will it look like if I really pay for her services? And as a reference, what I've always done for myself, and I always tell my clients as well, like, if you create a freebie, create something of so much value that you would be able to easily charge $50 for it. So create your freebie in the coming weeks, and then, or days, depending on how much time you have, and then look at it and say, like, could I charge $50 for it? If the answer is not, keep working on it. Find a way to put other things in it to make the value bigger. If it is, good, you can move on, and we're going to talk about that in a bit. So I suspect that most of you are going to opt for a PDF format, which is very easy and convenient, obviously, and there's nothing wrong with that. So I want to show you what that could look like, and I'm going to switch my screen. And I'm going to show you the lead magnets that I have in my shop. So if you go to my sleep consultant shop, you see here, I have a newborn sleep guide, a toddler sleep guide, and I have a travel sleep guide. Wait 1 second. I see that. Did my screen not go on? Oops. Well, here I am. A travel sleep guide. So if we look on the inside with a newborn sleep guide, for example, and this counts for all the guides, you want to have a very clear title on the front. You want to have a short introduction, and it can be very short. Again, make it not too much about you because it's about them. You want to help them. And then you give value, and try to make it as concise as possible, as easy as possible to read. Use normal language. Don't put all like fancy terms in it, because this is not gonna help the reading process. But also make it like really accessible with like little boxes, things to highlight, checklists, things to pop out or to remember, to and make it look good, like professional, right? You are in a professional business, you offer a high ticket service. I know most of you start charging with like maybe $300-400, but if you can, if you do it well, you can quickly upgrade these prices and come to like $700-800, with a lot of sleep consultants are charging, because it's very time consuming, the job that we're doing, of course. So you want this to look professional as well. And then one thing that I want you to definitely do always in every freebie, make sure that there's a call to action, a next step. And that can be to download something else, to check out your website, but even better for us as sleep consultants is to schedule a call. Once they've read this, they come at the end. And here I wrote, and you can, if you buy this, you can adapt it to your own wording, of course. I'd like to invite you for a call where we'll focus on understanding your specific goals, addressing the challenges you're facing with your child's sleep, and I'll offer practical tips and recommendations while exploring if and how I can help with your unique situation. Schedule now. And then you want to connect the call to your scheduling platform. Always put a call to action. So in these 3 guides, this is the toddler sleep guide. You'll see the call to action is schedule now. This is a travel sleep guide. You see the same thing. And scheduling to a call, it's been for me personally the most effective to because that's what I want. I want clients to book a call with me. You can also have a freebie, something like this, like a sleep chart. And you put your details there. Maybe you can put your phone number or something where they can find your Instagram account, and you can give a 1-page document of value. Or it can be shorter, it can be a 3-page document, and you keep it very concise. It really depends on your ideal client. It depends on the value that you're giving and how you shape that. So this is what it could look like if you do it in Canva. Canva is amazing. I love it. Okay, we're going to go back to the slideshow. Let me see if that worked. Yes, that worked. Okay. So we're going to move on to, oh yeah, one more thing that I wanted to say before we move on to part 4. If you decide to record a video training, you can easily record it with any of the free programs that are installed on your computer. On the Apple, for example, it's QuickTime. You can buy, you do a free trial with Loom, for example, you can record, and then you can edit in CapCut, which is a program you can also use for free. It's an editing software. It has a little bit of a learning curve, but it's not too hard. And once you figure that out, you get better and better, and you feel like a professional editor. But CapCut is amazing for that. Also for any videos and stuff you make on social media, you can easily put captions and music and transitions. And so it can really make you help make your content stand out instead of a basic video, and give it some extra vibe. And like I said before, like this creation part, we're going to move on to part 4 now, that says promoting your freebie. This creation part of part 1, 2, and 3 is going to take time. And that's okay, because you want to create something of value. And think about it like this. You only have to create one freebie, one something that is so freaking good, and improve it, because that's so much easier. A lot of times we create one thing and we're like, oh, it doesn't work. And you start from scratch, which is so hard work, a whole new thing. Don't do that. Keep improving and make it better. Ask the people who download it, like, was it what you expected? Ask your audience, send it to some of your friends and say like, oh, what do you think? What spoke to you? What did you feel valuable? What did you feel like unnecessary? And collect all this information and make it better and better and better. And it's the same for what we're going to talk about in this next part, in part 4, is everything in your business is optimized. Don't start again from scratch. Do what you have and make it better. It's always easier than trying to come up with a whole new idea and a new offer and a new promotion. Keep it simple for yourself and put the focus in improvement. So if you don't want to start from scratch with your template, as I showed you, you can go to my sleep consultant template, sleepconsultantdesign.com/shop. And there I'm going to drop the link in the chat. And then you don't have to start from scratch, and it will save you a lot of time. But if you like to design, Canva is amazing. So part 4, we're going to talk about promoting your freebie, because once you've got your freebie, so that's the next phase, you need to have a system in place that actually can collect email addresses, right? You don't want to just send it to everybody, and we are trying to build an email list here. So this is called a lead magnet funnel. And a lead magnet funnel has a 3-step approach. The first one is a landing page. It's called an opt-in page or a squeeze page. And I'm going to show you, that makes it easier. So let's, for example, take this freebie we've created. And so we have a high value lead magnet. And then we come to the opt-in, the squeeze page. That's the first part of the funnel. And this is where your client signs up. So they leave their email address, they read a little title and a little description about what the value is that they're going to get. And then they leave their email address, their name, and they send you their contact details. Then the next page where they're going to end up, and you know this from yourself as well, when you sign up for something, you see a thank you page where you thank them for registering, but you also share your qualifier. So your lead magnet or not, that's not necessary. You can also say thank you. And this is what I recommend a lot of sleep consultants to do. Like, you always want to have like one call to action, no matter what you put out. So the opt-in page is the call to action, sign up. And then the thank you page, the call to action can be, here is your freebie, and they can click on the link. Or, and this is way much better, say schedule a call, and you have a little description about what you do in the call, just like what you saw in the guide that I just showed you. I would like to invite you for a call and talk about your challenges, and you put that on the thank you page, which is way much more valuable to have that a call to action, and write on the thank you page something like your freebie, or you don't say freebie, your PDF is on the way to your inbox. And then in the small letters in the body text, you can explain about, like, I would like to invite you to a call. And so the thank you page, so you have 2 call to actions, one to collect their email address, which is great for you and for your client, of course, your ideal client. And the second one, you have an option to catch them on a call. Then what you want to do next is get them into an email sequence. And the first email of the email sequence, also this, go on my Instagram account. I have several, I think it's like a month ago, I posted some things about email sequence, about what you can write in the different emails, content, what it can have. And what you want to do, the first email is, of course, saying like, here's your freebie, here's your download. And then the other emails that are following up, you provide value, and you again put a call to action. And the call to action for the second email can still be, hey, did you check the PDF already? Did you read? Do you have any questions? Hit reply and I can help you out. And then at one moment you want to switch to the call to action to schedule a call, and we can talk about your challenges right now. And so this is what you want to do in the email sequence. It's not so much, I would suggest you can also immediately sell your package for like $400, $500, $600, $700, $800, which is a harder sale than when somebody hopped on a call with you and you can really talk it through, which is also good experience for you to get in the amount of calls, because again, volume always beats whatever it beats. I don't know. Volume is key. And I had a coach who told me once, see it as a game of collecting no's. So you go on a call, and of course you want to have a yes, but when you have a no, okay, that is another call made. That's another practice in. So if you see it from that, like, okay, another no collected, next. Literally, no can mean next one, instead of feeling defeated and like, oh my God, I fail at this, and this is my second call, I still have no paid client, and you get in this wrong cycle of depression. Maybe that sounds too heavy, but so if you see like, okay, next one, and we move on, and this is my practice time, because the more no's you collect, the more yeses you're going to have. So I don't want to go too deep in this step because I've written a full article on it. I'm going to share it now in the chat, and the people for the replay can find it underneath the video. I can quickly show you what that looks like. And that's the following. Oh, that's my website, this one. So how to build a lead magnet funnel as a sleep consultant. I wrote a whole article about it. And in the article, it's step by step, talks even more about the lead magnets. And it's explaining and showing you what it can look like to have an opt-in page, to have a thank you page, as you can see, schedule your call. And then the email sequence, what that can look like for your ideal clients, and the promoting and the optimizing. So there's a lot of information in this article that you can find already and use for your business. And like I said, go check out my Instagram because there's a lot of information on it as well. Okay, that was it. I shared the screen, but I don't need to share it. I'm going to close it. And so what you're gonna do once, make sure that this is going well. I'm gonna switch. So if you haven't seen me yet, then here I am. Once you have the funnel set up, you want to share this link to the funnel, to the opt-in page on your website, on your social media, on your blog post. You can even put it in Canva and make a QR code from it, or on any platform on Google. If you put QR code generator, just be careful that some of the platforms start charging you after 7 days. But in Canva, it's free. You put in the link and you create a QR code, and you make a nice flyer for a workshop, or you just make a flyer about your freebie, your qualifier. You hang that in the supermarket with a QR code. People can download it, opt in, and you get people from all places in this one email list that you creating. QR code is also great to put on your business card and hand this out to people, or once you've done a workshop and say, hey, I have a baby and toddler sleep chart. So per age, you can see what their sleep needs are and the amount of naps that I suggest. And then they scan that from their business card. So the whole idea with this freebie thing is to get them on your email list, and there you give more value, offer them to hop on a call and make this funnel, this one funnel. You know, we make it way too complicated and everybody is all these different steps. It's not necessary. Just have an opt-in page, a thank you page, and an email sequence. And then what I would suggest, because the email sequence is normally like 5 to 6 emails, then the email sequence is done. You don't want to lose them. Then they go into a newsletter. So that is something that I would highly recommend as well, which you can easily change into Instagram posts as well. Write a newsletter every week on a certain day, or every 2 weeks if that feels better for you, but something to keep your audience warm and know about you, because what you want to do is to stay in their headspace. You want to have that. Maybe there's not a problem right now, or they trying to still fix it themselves, but that one day that they're like, I'm done with this, I need help. Who are they going to think about? And that's that person that was kept popping up in their screen, kept showing their value, kept giving, kept being there and saying, when you're ready, I'm here. And then when they're ready, you're going to be the one. So what you want to do with this freebie and this funnel, make it very strong. And this is not going to be perfect from day one. It just not work like that. There's a learning curve, but just remember, like, the biggest mistake people make with funnels is not having one. So the moment you have one in place, from there on, you can start optimizing. And this is all you need for your business. So, yeah, that's it for me for today. I hope this was very valuable. I know there's a lot of content and a lot of things you still need to think about. I hope that I could give an idea of like what a quality of a freebie should look like and all the essential elements. And thank you, Kathy. Great you are here. I do want to open up for a Q&A, and because I received some questions from people who sent me by email who couldn't make it live. And one of them was Unoya. Unoya, I love your name. And she couldn't make it to the live training. She said, what is the best platform to use to start with email marketing? Now, first of all, there are so many platforms out there who are offering like to set up these funnels and things like that. So let me drop some names. You probably heard of them. Kajabi, ConvertKit, ClickFunnels. What else do we have? MailChimp, GetResponse, Kartra, Entreport. All these platforms offer to set up the funnel, or they offer only the email marketing, or both. And of course, they all have pros and cons. It depends on what kind of business you are in, and the level of technical expertise, because some of them are very technical and others are really drag and drop and it's easy done. But for me personally, what I always look for in a platform is that it has to be easy. It has to be, and not only for me, but also for my clients. When I set up things, I want them to be able to feel empowered to make the changes that are needed. So I want that for you. But easiness is so important. Doesn't have to be complicated. But also I want to have great support team, which is very important. You know, I don't want to wait 2 days. I'm in the flow, I'm creating something, I have an issue, what I run into, technical issue, I reach out to the support team, and some platforms you need to wait like 2-3 days before you get an answer, and then I'm already out of it. But so a good support team, but I also want like something that is an all-in-one solution. Some of those platforms are offering like great email marketing, but the landing pages are very not so nice, the templates, and some of them have beautiful landing pages, but you cannot create a full funnel that you want to set up. So you want to have an all-in-one solution, but also something that can grow with your business, right? You want to have a platform that the moment the funnel is set up and you feel more confident in your business and you want to create a website or maybe an online course, or you want to build an online shop, then you want to have the possibility to do that in the same platform. You just got used to it. You don't want to start a whole new learning curve and switch between different platforms. So you want to have it all in one. And this is something that is very important to me. And I guess, and what I've heard also for other sleep consultants, and also a platform that takes SEO seriously, that there are options to put your text, so Google can find your content and your freebies. And most important, you don't want it to cost a fortune, right? So I've been looking, tried all these platforms. I set up all these different platforms for different sleep consultants who already paid for, for the platform. So we just went with it. And a lot of platforms, what I figured out soon as well, are not transparent about their pricing. They offer you a free trial for 1 month. They don't really say the monthly price. And then suddenly after 1 month, you started building things already. And then the big invoice comes in and you're like, oh, I didn't know it was that expensive, but now I cannot move anymore because I just started setting up. And then you're stuck on a platform that you pay a high price for. It's been so far that I've helped a couple of sleep consultants save $200 a month by getting rid of the platform they were on right now with all the fancy bells and tricks and stuff that they were not using, because we are in a very simple business in the sense of like simple funnel, website, get on a call. And if we want to have the possibility to sell something on our website or do an online course, but it doesn't have to have all these fancy things. The simpler, the better. Are those platforms that like I said, that you're stuck with a platform and you don't know how to switch. So let me drop the link below this video about the platform that I'm using myself. I'm using it for my own business. I switched everything of my business once I found this one to it, and I helped several other sleep consultants set it up and switch to this platform. And it's called System.io. This is a platform that I really highly recommend. Easy learning curve. And it also has the option to build all the other things, the online course, a shop, membership program, community, all these kind of things. And the best thing, you can start for free. And if you want to upgrade to remove their logo and stuff, it's only $27 a month. And if you have the annual price, I think it's like $19. It's nothing. So the free plan is great to start to try it out. And so highly recommend it. Check that out. I got another question. Let me see, from Elle, who could not make it today. She said, I have a freebie already. What I'm struggling with is collecting email addresses. Yeah, so that's what I explained in this whole workshop today. It's called a funnel. And what I can recommend, and I have the link here, is it's a lot of links today, but I want to give a lot of value as possible. I recorded a course and it's called Build Your Funnel in 1 Day. It's only $47. I want to make it I put a lot of time and effort in it, but I want to make it very possible for anybody to buy it. And it has helped many sleep consultants get started with building a funnel. Like, it has all the steps that I just explained and exactly what I showed you in the blog. You see all the pages that are in it that can help you to quickly build a funnel. So you get over with it. It's done, it's there, and then you can optimize it. So, okay, are there any more questions? Then you can drop it in the chat. And otherwise, we're going to wrap up for today. Okay, if there are any questions coming up while you're working on it, shoot me a DM. I'm always happy to help. Yeah, I'm always here if you need help and support. And yeah, have a great day. Thank you so much for joining, and see you in the next workshop.